So if I'm being 100% honest with you guys, I was not expecting chapter 1036 to drop this early. I was expecting it to drop in like 2, maybe 3 more days, but we got it earlier, right? We got it this Tuesday, where scans usually come out on a Friday, but at the same time, I think Friday's supposed to be New Year's Eve. So we got this now, and it was a good chapter. It was more of a what's going on with everything chapter, because we did get the wrap up of Zoro versus King, and the chapter was titled Bushido is the Way of Death. Kaido and King, they have a conversation where Kaido asks King, do you really think I'm Joy Boy, and how do you feel about the world that I'm creating? Is it still one that you want to follow? And King's like, well, it doesn't really matter what world you're creating, I still owe you my life, so I'm going to follow you, and I won't ever lose until you're king of the pirates. Basically, he's saying he's going to devote his life to Kaido and make sure he becomes the king. And their relationship reminds me a lot of Luffy and Zoro, how Luffy and Zoro, when Zoro said, hey, I won't ever lose again until he beats Mihawk, and he will assist him in becoming the king of the pirates. And we also saw that flashback as well. And Zoro says, if you're going to become the king of the pirates, then I'll become the king of hell. And I wonder if that's going to be Zoro's new F yet. We know that Zoro's F yet is Pirate Hunter Zoro, which it still kind of makes sense, but he's no longer a pirate hunter or a bounty hunter. I mean, technically he does cut down pirates, so that's how it works. But I wonder if he'll get the F yet King of Hell Zoro, or Hellbringer Zoro, or something along those lines. I think it would be very interesting. And then we got the clarification that Zoro beat King, and Bo Huang, she informed CP0 that all the All-Stars and Tobirapa are defeated, so they know that Sanji beat Queen, and that Zoro beat King, so their bounty should raise significantly. And this is going all the way down to the bottom of the chapter, but I have to mention this here. Zoro is showcased, and Sanji as well, and somebody else, I don't remember who, but Sanji and Zoro are both showcased to be out of commission, when this is the first time we have ever seen Zoro unconscious after a fight, which is very interesting. Well, he might not be unconscious, but for right now I'm saying that. Sanji's getting treatment while Zoro is just laying there with blood just gushing out of him. It's not from his face, it's coming from his body internally, so it might be the scars that are just laying around. I don't know. I really want to know what Zoro and Sanji, what their role is for the rest of the arc. Then CP0, they talk about how, okay, it's cool that the Tobirapa died, well, not died, that they were defeated, and that the All-Stars are defeated, but it means nothing if those monsters in Big Mom and Kaido, if they're still alive, which is true. As long as those people are here, the Alliance didn't achieve their goal. Then we get the scene where they talk about what could happen with Wano. If the capital does get destroyed by Kaido being defeated, then the impact on the ground with the gunpowder, it'll still go off. There's also the little Yokozuna thing that Kanjuro he developed with the fire, so that's spreading through, that can still spread down. And that Kaido losing the flame crowds, and they talk about Momonosuke and Yamato, what they're doing to try to prevent this. So that's what a lot of this chapter was showcasing, different people in the chapter basically showing their location. Yamato, she gets to the armory, and there's somebody blocking it, where she gets, I believe, Juki or Yuki or something along those lines, one of the number members, to help her get through the door. Then we cut to Usopp, where Usopp, this is, I don't like Usopp like that, right? He's not one of my favorite characters, not one of my favorite Straw Hats. He is well written, and he does have good development, because what he talked about in this situation, I loved how Kiku and Kimo, they're like, no, don't forget me, save them and save the other one, etc. And Usopp's like, man, I know y'all are keeping your honor and all that, but F that. He says, hey, I don't care if I'm crying and have snot going down. I don't want to die. You guys shouldn't either. The purpose of this battle isn't just to sacrifice yourself. It's not, and it'll be in vain if you guys don't survive this. So stop talking about the seppuku crap and try to survive this. And then Izo comes and he saves them, because Usopp is getting overwhelmed. And so Izo, he says, hey, take Kimo and take Kiku and get out of here. God, Usopp. And Usopp's like, hey, you know who I am, don't you? So they get out of there while Izo, he is covering everybody. And they also mentioned Marco. Marco is, well, we didn't see him in this chapter, but he plans to do something big. We also got some more Raizo and Fukurokujo. Basically, they're in a standstill. They're both keeping each other in paralysis, where they're like, hey, the fire's coming, let us go. And Fukurokujo, he's trying to get away. Raizo's like, hey, I don't need to get away, because I'm Odin's disciple. This flame means nothing. Similar how Odin was in boiling water, or boiling oil. Why am I stuttering so much? I'm sorry, I'm just almost 4 in the morning. He was in boiling oil, and so Raizo, he's saying, well, if Odin was in that as his retainer, I should be able to withstand much more than just some regular flames. Then there's Komurasaki, her and Orochi are talking about playing them a song. I don't really care about them, so we're not going to talk about them much here. Then we cut to CP0 fighting Apu and X Drake. Apu dipped. He's like, sorry, X Drake, we got to get up out of here. Because CP0, they're bleeding, but they were able to beat, I don't want to say with ease, but they probably mid-diffed X Drake. X Drake is blooded and knocked out. And let's be real, it wasn't like Drake was injured. I mean, he went against Queen a little bit and Apu, but he wasn't really injured much. It just showcased how strong CP0 is. Then there also was another scene which I talked about and I mentioned a little bit earlier, how CP0 is like, hey, the All-Stars are defeated. I think Rob Lucci was on the line talking about capturing Nico Robin, but they're talking about how the All-Stars are defeated. They got to get out of here. Talking about, hey, Big Mom, she's still around. The next generation, the odds are beating them are 1,000,000 to none. But if it happens, we gotta escape. We do see some kid in Law versus Big Mom. Big Mom is turning some of the metal into homies, so it's kind of hard with Kid's magnetism or her soul fruit. I don't know how that's gonna work out. I think it's interesting. That's probably where we're gonna go next chapter. There's not supposed to be a break next week, so I'm excited about that. So the only people I left are Big Mom and Kaido, and then we cut to Luffy versus Kaido. They're going back and forth. Luffy is still in base, which this is bothering me a little bit. Him going in, I know Kaido's weakened and all, but Kaido ain't that weak, right? Kaido still would probably whoop up on everybody here, even though he's weak. But the fact that Luffy isn't in Snake Man, isn't in Tank Man, he's not even in Gear 2nd, and he's going toe to toe with Kaido. Is Conqueror's coding that easy? Like, is it that dramatic in a fight? Because when you look at Zoro against King, he was struggling the whole time, and then once he got Conqueror's coding, he was whooping King. Like, King stood no chance. And then Luffy, he has a new attack. It's called the Rock Gun. It looks like he coded his attack in Haki and Conqueror's advanced, Conqueror's Haki, and then he shot like his jet pistol, but it looks like kind of like Buggy's fruit, how Buggy can chop off a part of his body and punch. It looks kind of like that, so I'm not really sure what it is. It might get explained later. It might be his awakening, might be a Gear 5, I don't know. But it just does bother me that Kaido is in his hybrid form and Luffy's in base and he's able to take or go blow for blow against Kaido. But overall, I give this about a 7 out of 10 chapter. It was some boring parts. Like, I didn't care about Usopp's part. It was important, but I didn't really care about it. Didn't care about Komurasaki. And we got a lot of moving around, which I like to a certain extent, but like, I feel like we just recently got what's going on, so I didn't really think we needed this. I did like Zoro's new title, being the King of Hell, so that shows, well, aside being the world's greatest swordsman, that shows what he's a king of, so that's pretty cool. And we got to see Luffy and Kaido. We ain't seen them in a minute, so I'm very happy about that. No break next week, I'm pretty sure. I don't know when the next chapter is supposed to come out. It might be next week Friday if they're going back to normal, I'm not sure, but let me know your guys' thoughts about it in the comment section below. Thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Also hit the notification so you guys never miss out on a new video from me. Instagram, Twitter, Snapchat, and TikTok is on the screen and in the description below. Thank you guys so much for watching, and don't forget to unleash your potential.